Welcome back, everybody, and Happy New Year. We'll go on with reports from Council. Ed Waters.
I just want to say thank you to the chief and his department. I got into a predicament where Social Security sent me a notice that they thought I was in a Sacramento, California jail because somebody used my Social Security number there. So I had to do a background check, and the chief and his group did a fantastic job. Sergeant Flores and Ramirez and the chief, he got it done in 2 days for this to be sent off to California, so I wouldn't be find myself in a jail because they have an arrest warrant out for that Social Security number. So I can't thank you enough, and I hope everybody here appreciates them as much as I do.
Kudos, David. No, nothing to report. Just hope everybody had a great Christmas, Happy New Year, and hope everybody has a great 2025.
All right, thank you, Rick. Jeff's not with us tonight. He got rerouted with all this great weather across the United States. Alex Scanlon.
No report.
All right, thank you, Alex. Amanda Fenwick.
Happy 2025. I just want to say thanks to everybody who brought bags for the Gallatin County Food Bank for Adopt a Senior. I took 10 bags down to the food bank. They were super appreciative of that. They do need volunteers to help box stuff, sort food, deliver food. So if you have a couple extra hours on hand during the week or weekends and you want to do some good for people in need in our community, the food bank's the place to be. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Amanda. I think actually there's a box in there full right now underneath the stairs that we probably could coordinate if somebody wants to go. All right. Okay. I won't steal Mike's thunder, but I do want to say, man, the parking lot looks really good. I've got a few text messages, phone calls from the businesses up there thanking everybody and wanted to make sure that we thanked everybody that was part of that and made that possible. They're very happy. So hopefully that'll do what we want it to do up there. Update on the boat ramp. This is scary. Maybe that's why you guys are here. I did talk to a lady by the name of Julie Dillard, who is our representative there at Texas Parks and Wildlife, and happy to announce that we did complete the first part of that project as far as our grant. So that has been turned over to the people that sign off on that from Texas Parks and Wildlife now that it's come back from Wildlife and Fisheries, and that should happen within the next 90 days. During that time, they're going to open up a window for us to, I know it's an application, but sign an application or fill out an application for the next process of that boat ramp, which will be the construction. We're guaranteed to get that now that we made it through the first part. We just have to go through the proper paperwork to make that happen. They anticipate that going fairly quickly. I did ask her today, since this has taken 7 years, to please let me know how we're going to get paid and whatnot. So that was encouraging that as we go along and we make payments, we will get paid probably every 45 to 60 days. So that won't take another 7 years to get our money back. So that was very encouraging. Mike and I had talked about that project, and that project, we don't think that's going to be a 90-day project maybe, huh, Mike?
I can't imagine it taking more than maybe a couple months, 3 months.
Yeah, so it's going to go pretty quick once we start. Want to welcome everyone back from the holidays. I want to say that we had some fun with all of the volunteers. That was a really good party. Thanks for the turnout there. That was an amazing turnout there. I think everybody that showed up there had fun. We gave a little gift to all of those that are on the committee. So if you didn't get one of those, contact me or Mike. I have those. I actually went around and tried to play Santa Claus a few days after that. Of course, some people were gone and out of town, so they didn't get theirs. We still have those. So if you're hearing this, please contact us and we'll get you your gift. We also had an employee party that was really fun, and we had a lot of participation in. Didn't know that Christy was a very good pickleball player along with Cheryl, but that's where we went, and they did very well. And David was there. David's a pretty good pickleball player too. Yeah, well, trying to build you up, David. But we had a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun. So we had a good Christmas with all of you and the city staff, which I had a lot of fun because it was kind of funny in a way. That's really all the report I got. I'm going to leave the rest of all the nuts and bolts to Mike. And with that said, the only other thing was we elected not to start taking the Christmas stuff down because of the rain later this week. We wanted to give Jorge and them a little bit warmer few days, and we're in the middle of getting the lift set up for sometime next week, so you'll see some of that start to come down. When you do, please be aware of them on the roadway. Be courteous. I know you guys that live here aren't the ones, but there are people that act like they get in the way, and it's very dangerous up there where they're working, so please be respectful of that, and we'll get that stuff taken down and things will get back to normal. I believe Mary and them are going to be working on this tree this week too. And that's it. We'll move over to staff reports. Chief David Donaldson.
Mayor, Council, I got a couple things I'd like to report. I've had a lot of questions, people asking me what happened to the individual that shot Sergeant Flores. This morning, Sergeant Flores and I attended a hearing at the Galveston County Courthouse, and during this hearing, we waited around. It was a bond reduction hearing is what it was, so we're waiting to see what the DA's office is going to offer this individual so they could go back and forth. Well, while we were there a good while, his attorney come out and said that he's claiming insanity. So we had a wasted trip, but that's an update on that. That's where we are. I asked that when this court date comes around, if he doesn't take a plea, if this court date comes around, I would ask everybody to attend. It means really a whole lot to me. When it's your guys, it hits home. So that's what I'd ask. On a brighter note, we got Officer Ding here with Sergeant Flores. Officer Ding, he's been here about 4 or 5 months. He has 3 years of law enforcement, and I just want to put a name with his face so y'all can see him. We're short-handed, so next time we come to this meeting, council meeting, it'll be one of our newer guys. We have 3 new guys. One of them y'all probably heard a lot about, which we'll get to that. But we're honored to have Officer Ding working for us. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Welcome aboard, Officer Ding. Moving on, Mike Cramp.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have a lot to report tonight. FEMA regarding Hurricane Beryl recovery. Cheryl and I did review the final application for reimbursement to FEMA. Last week I signed that, so the next step in that is for it to go to TDIM, as we are the sub-recipient of any grant funding reimbursement through that. TDIM will actually disperse those funds, so that's where we are with that. So we'll begin the TDIM process next. Additionally, they have a process for another claim that FEMA is going to prepare for us for the time Cheryl and I have taken to get all this done, so we can recoup some of that money as well. The east parking lot update, the curbs report Saturday went well. Landscaping is being delayed, as you said, due to the freeze, but the beds are being prepared. The bollard removal at the opposite corner should start next week, weather permitting. And we're just rolling along with the small portions moving forward. We will, just so everybody knows, the concrete has to cure at least 30 days before they can apply the striping, because it's the thermoplastic striping. And once that 30-day mark comes up, that first Monday we get to, because some of our restaurants and bars and stuff are closed up there on Mondays, but there will be a Monday where we will lock that whole parking lot down. It won't be open. But we're going to try to do that on a Monday so that it has the lowest impact on our citizens and our establishments. The drawer right-of-way survey has been completed. For those in the audience who aren't aware, when that project was funded to extend Drawer Road over to 518, the city made a pledge to the county that we would annex that right-of-way so that we would be responsible for the maintenance of it, and that somewhere along the line that ball was dropped. So I've been working with the city attorney to get that going, and the first step in that was getting it surveyed, and that has been done. We received the report on the Clear Lake Road Bridge for the repairs that need to be made and kind of a schedule of maintenance moving forward. They gave us 3 different options. I'll be presenting those to Roads and Drainage at the next Roads and Drainage meeting, and based on conversations with them, I'll have something to bring back to council. And then finally, I mentioned in a previous meeting that the chief lost his administrative assistant, and so he has been his own paper pusher, if you will, for the last several weeks, and he's pulling out most of his hair. But we start interviews for that this week. We have what we think are some really qualified candidates. We've changed the job description on that and kind of ramped it up to where it's a more executive assistant type functionality. So we'll be interviewing for that this week, and that's all I have at this time.
All right, thank you. I want to mention a couple more things before we move on. One thing I forgot about, we're going to ask Teresa to start putting this out there more. I know we put something out there already about our hazardous waste pickup. I believe Mike procured the parking lot of the school. There's going to be a one-way in and a one-way out. I think that's January 18th, is it not, Teresa? Is that what? Okay. So I did see something go out. I'm not sure did you put that out or was that something they put out? So they sent a flyer over too. So we're going to start promoting that quite a bit so you guys remember that on what the dates and times are. There'll be a list of what you can and cannot bring over there, what they're going to accept and what they won't. Don't bring tires. I don't think they want tires. We learned that already. You can bring them if you want to pay extra for them, but that part won't be free. So really that's the only other thing, except for, I give a lot of credit to a lot of people. But I don't think I say enough. Thank you, Dick Greg, for all your leadership. I know Mike has worked with you extensively on fixing ordinances, correcting verbiage, and some of the existing things that we have to protect our city. So I want to say we appreciate that from you, too, for doing a great job. With that said, we will move on to public comments. At this time, any person with city-related business may speak to the City Council. If the topic of discussion is related to an item on the agenda, the comments may be made now or at the time the agenda item is discussed. If the topic of discussion is not related to an item on the agenda, the City Council cannot deliberate or take any action at this time. Comments from the public should be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per individual, and there be no yielding of time. Would anybody like to address the City Council? Okay, no one? Okay, moving on, we'll close the public comments and we'll go down to item number 6, the consent agenda, the check register, council meeting minutes, and the waterfront transfer. Do we have anything that we would like to pull off of that consent agenda, or do we have a motion for that consent agenda?
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
All right, you got a motion?
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Ed, got a second by Rick. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, motion passes. Moving on to item 7, old business. Discussion of possible action may be taken on the following items. Action from a public hearing for violation of city code, junk vehicle, public nuisance, section 78-167, and abatement of nuisance, removal from public or private property, disposal, section 78-169, located at 14 Tyndall. Mike Cram?
Thank you, Mayor. So I have been in conversations, both email and verbal conversations, with Amy Sullivan, Jay's sister, who has been kind of his caretaker through this. Just to remind everybody, she lives on the north side of Houston. She has a full-time job, and she can only get down here on weekends sometimes. To that end, one of the vehicles that he had in the right-of-way has already been removed from the right-of-way, has been inspected and registered and made legal, and it's also off the right-of-way. It's in his driveway now. One of the disabled vehicles on his property has been removed, and my understanding is that's a permanent removal. There is one vehicle remaining that is covered, but the goal that they have is to try to get that one inspected and registered as well. Not sure if that's going to happen, but Amy's working towards that end. She's already had a couple of trailers full of sundry stuff from the yard and the house, underneath the house, etc., removed from the property, and she's continuing to do that this month. My request to council would be that you consider giving her until the end of the month to make some headway with that, and then we revisit it if we need to, because she is actually, she's moving the rocks. She's getting some done, but she is running into some headaches with her brother. He doesn't want to get rid of a lot of his stuff that he's collected over the years, but we are improving it, and that is the ultimate goal. We're not going to get it all perfect in one fell swoop, and I think it behooves us to give her some latitude of time to continue working towards a fix for that property. That said, that's not the only one that you're going to be visited with. Our next jury trial date will probably be in February, and we have several code enforcement cases against a neighboring individual on Aspen set for trial that date. So this is not going to be a one-time deal with just one problem property. We're going to have to keep doing this, but my goal is that we just keep making headway. I just want people to start trying to get in compliance, so that that's been a neglected area of our city for years and years and years, and it's not going to clean up overnight.
So that we're following our ordinance, right? I mean, at the end, that's the goal. So thank you for that update. Do we have any motions on the public hearing?
We have to do something, right? Because we're at a point where
Yes, we brought this back, so we have to do something, and we can take Mike's recommendation to give her till the end of the month like he suggested, or council can determine any other time they'd like to.
And she's making progress on it right now, so.
Well,
Whatever Mike's
let's
recommendation.
get a motion on the table so we can...
All right, well, I'll make a motion that we go with Mike's recommendation to give her to the end of the month and then revisit the progress made at that point.
Okay, we have a motion by Rick,
All second.
got a second by Alex. Any discussion?
Yes.
bring it back at the first meeting in February, Mike.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I figure if we give it to the end of the month, that would give you time to get something put together for the first meeting in February.
Right.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimous. We'll move on to number 8, new business. Discussion and possible action may be taken on the following items. Consider and take action to authorize the city administrator to negotiate a contract with Upright Services for internet technology services for the city. Mike Cram?
Thank you again, Mayor. We had 3 bids to consider. One was extraordinarily higher than the others. Upright Services came in as, if you had a chance to look at your packet, Upright Services came in with an overall score of 270 points by the committee. The nearest competitor was 230 points, and then one was based on, I think mostly the cost, was down to 190. So Upright was clearly an advantageous choice to the city. Then on top of that, even though they finished first, we do already utilize them for our IT services, so it will be a seamless continuation.
Mayor, I'll move to authorize the city administrator to negotiate a contract with Upright Services for IT services for the city.
Okay, have a motion by Amanda,
I'll second that.
got a second by Ed. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimous. We'll move on to the next item. Item B, consider and take action to authorize the city administrator to negotiate a contract with Earthworks Lawn Care Services, Inc. for landscape maintenance services for the city. Mike Cram once again.
So thank you. Once again, we had 3 vendors. Once again, one of the prices was remarkably higher than the others. The lowest price that came in was not a broken down price. It wasn't detailed the way we had asked for it to be completed in the pricing sheet, so it's hard for us to tell what they're charging us for. The next highest price, it was basically a $6,000 difference, but when we looked at the submissions, that one actually included additional things beyond what we had included in the RFP. And bless Cheryl's heart, she was trying to make, I don't know, a golden goose out of lemonade to get this RFP out, because there were a lot of different individual pieces all over the city in various locations. And she got them all, but because one of those vendors has been doing and taking care of our lawn services for years, they were more familiar with anybody that works in an office every day. And they actually went back, if you were able to get a chance to look at your packet, they included the area between the Okies parking lot, which is about 2,500 square feet, which was recently sodded, pruning of multiple crepe myrtles on properties, seasonal color beds at Sundial Park with multiple flats, yearly application of 50 cubic yards of hardwood mulch, and then irrigation inspections every quarter that we had not even thought about, truthfully. And so even though they're right at $6,000 more, I think there's probably a lot more than $6,000 in those 5 things they listed. Truthfully, we've been very happy with their service. So our recommendation as the best value for the city is to continue with Earthworks, yes.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Yep, I make a motion that we authorize the city administrator to negotiate a contract with Earthworks.
Okay, got a motion by Ed, got a second by Amanda. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous. Hey, before we close out, I'm going to ask you to do something. I'm going to put you on the spot. Something I should have wrote down, but I didn't. Can you give any sort of update on the pedestrian bridge and the bridge, Mike, to the citizens about, we had some work done on that and a study done on that. Can you give any insight to that, where we're at with that?
Certainly. The pedestrian bridge, we're looking at 2 options on it. One is a standalone structure that would be a single span across there. The other option would be to attach it to the existing bridge if that bridge is conditionally sturdy enough to make that happen. That would probably be significantly less expensive than a standalone span. However, before we can even give consideration to that, we have to make the repairs to the bridge. Those repairs are going to be extensive because they've been ignored for several years. We have some horizontal cracking and spalling and some issues that Alex has addressed in previous, was it roads and drainage where we talked about it? But they're not cheap repairs, and we need to address those before we can really think about attaching a structure to the side of the bridge. A wild card in that is we submitted that bridge to the county as a consideration for part of their roads and bridges issue, bond issue coming up. And so there's a lot of different rumors on the street about how much the cities are kind of earmarked for in that bond proposal. If some of those rumors are true, that bond proposal could actually fund a brand new bridge. So I don't think it would be wise for us to I don't think we should jump the gun. We need to wait and see what that bond issue comes with, because if that can finance a new bridge for us, why would we spend money that we're about to spend a great deal on that boat ramp? And so we need to be judicious about that, in my opinion. Wait to see what the bond's going to do and see how much we can get out of that bond issuance. Because if we can rebuild the bridge the way they've done the one down here and raise it, then so much the better, and we can just attach a pedestrian bridge to it at that time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I hadn't thought about that earlier. I should have wrote it down, but I have this thing called a job, and I get sidetracked sometimes. I forget to write things down too, so thanks for that. Okay, with that, we'll adjourn the meeting at 6:50.